This video is brought to you by Privacy.com. Privacy.com lets you buy things online using virtual cards instead of real ones, protecting your identity and bank information on the internet. Apple's got games, and more games. This is my Apple Arcade review, and wow, this thing is really good. Now, I'm a gamer, but as my time has dwindled to be a video creator, my time for mobile gaming has almost come to a complete stop with, I get a few Fortnite sessions in, some Marvel Contest of Champions here and there, and I'll definitely fire up Mortal Kombat 11 on a console just to get some quick gaming on most of the time. So after hearing all about Apple Arcade, my thinking was, it'll be a nice add-on and it'll help Apple boost their services, but I can tell you that as someone who used to be a gamer and doesn't have as much time to game anymore, Apple Arcade is an absolutely killer service. It's $4.99 a month, there's a 1-month free trial, and the membership can be shared by 5 family members. The games are curated by Apple, and it shows because I haven't found a crappy one in here yet. The biggest piece of this puzzle, though, there are no microtransactions whatsoever that get in the way of trying to nickel and dime you. Just none whatsoever. And it's really refreshing. You almost forget what it used to be like during the OG Fruit Ninja and Angry Birds days where you got to enjoy the game and nothing but the game. Now, all the games I tried captured really this indie spirit with polish, and I never felt that any of these were throwaway games that you play for a bit and then just discard and never use again. And if you don't like them, guess what? You can discard them and never use them again, and you can always try another one. Now, I wouldn't say these are the greatest mobile games you've ever played, but I didn't feel like there was a single piece of trash in there either. You get 53 to play on launch, and they were all good to great. And also, I think what's special is they each kind of have their own charm to them. Plus, in iOS 13, you can pair via Bluetooth an Xbox One or PS4 controller. It actually helped me play and control some of the games a whole lot better. So I would absolutely bring a controller on the go with me and play with my iPad when I'm traveling now. Now, I think the best way to think about Apple Arcade is it's like Xbox Live Arcade, but from Apple. There are properties you might recognize like Sonic Racing, you got ChuChu Rocket, and look, if you've ever played ChuChu Rocket on the Dreamcast back in the day, then you are my friend. But if you can feel like 2 of these games of the crop are interesting to you, I think it's absolutely worth the $4.99 price for a month. Think about it this way. Mario Kart Tour just came out on iOS, and it's charging $4.99 a month just to access its gold tier items and the faster 200cc racing mode. So I've gone through about 20 plus of the game so far, and here's a look at some of my favorites that you have to play, even if you're just checking it out for free for the first month. First up, Sayonara Wild Hearts, easily my favorite of the bunch. This is a high-energy Euro pop music adventure where you're collecting hearts, and it's this non-stop ride with a story and this crazy minimalist neon space aesthetic. I first tried playing with just the touchscreen, and I was horrible, so I'm like, let's try a controller. This game needs a controller, and on a big screen like Apple TV, it's a real treat, so you've got to check out Sayonara Wild Hearts. Now, if we completely shift gears, I didn't know what to expect with this game called Assemble, but it's this combo of problem solving and then taking apart and repairing devices kind of in 3D, but there's a story around it, there's a narrative. It's one of those games that, it kind of accesses that part of your brain that just wants to tinker and think but relax at the same time. And that's what makes Apple Arcade really interesting. There's games like these that have a chance to shine that you normally wouldn't hear about them, and they aren't covered up in ads or buying extra bonuses, but I dig Assemble a whole lot. Next up, Oceanhorn 2 Knights of the Lost Realm is an RPG where you fight enemies, you collect items, and you solve problems. It's arguably the best looking game on Apple Arcade right now when you look at its entirety, and if you're into this style of game, it's already worth the monthly price alone. Now, Earth Knight, this is a throwback, kind of an 8-bit platformer where you're jumping around and aliens are there and you're flying and bouncing off aliens and you're gliding with an 8-bit soundtrack to really kind of amp up this nostalgia as you try to conquer a dragon by riding up its entire body. Then you have Shinsekai Into the Depths. It's another great looking game. This one's from Capcom, and you're this aquanaut exploring the ocean. You're collecting resources, battling creatures, and crafting resources to build up your character with a mysterious underwater vibe throughout it. I thought this game was really cool, and it caught my attention right away. Skate, this is kind of just pretty. It has a real smooth feel and flow to it. You remember, this will kind of scratch your old school Tony Hawk Pro Skater itch. You do skateboard tricks with the simple trick system. I'm hoping that there's going to be new cities available later, but this is really like a laid back vibe that this game gives off that I really love. And then another one that surprised me with its really zen-like feel is a game called Tint. I don't even know if I should call this a game. This one might be one that you could share with the kids and grown-ups, but you use brush strokes to solve puzzles by mixing watercolors and then getting really from one point to another with these mixed colors. It's really relaxing, and there's no way I would have found a game like this through the noise of the App Store if you're trying to find it. I just wouldn't. That's what, again, kind of Apple Arcade does here. Brings some of this cool stuff to the surface. And then finally, Where Cards Fall. This is a puzzle game where you're navigating a character through obstacles, but then you use touch and pinch gestures with a deck of cards and different mechanics to kind of pop up the cards to create a platform. You can spread them out really slowly so it's a larger space, and then you're trying to move this character kind of from one door or portal to another. I just love this one. They basically throw you into it and let you figure it out, and you know what? You kind of do. I first thought I was dumb, but it's great, and this is another one that is so charming. It's great looking. It captures really the essence of Apple Arcade. And when you look at all those games I showed you, you know, they're all so different from each other, but they all work. So when I said this is like the Xbox Live Arcade for Apple, it really is if you remember those days, but it is its own thing, especially because these games are made for a mobile audience with their charm and kind of sticky mechanics that just work. And I'd absolutely recommend you invest in a Bluetooth controller if you haven't, because it really helps out for many of these games. I know you can still control them on a touchscreen, but there's just some that you got to have for it, whether you're at home or on the go. So Apple Arcade is an absolute win for me. I didn't expect it to be, but Apple, they know exactly what they're doing here. And if you're a gamer, this is almost a must-have, no-brainer, especially for you and your family and others to share. Now, I'd love to hear what games on Apple Arcade are your go-tos or standouts that you love, and maybe I might have missed them. You can tell me which ones are cool to check out, or you might agree or disagree with the ones I showed off. Put them in the comments because you know I read them all. Thanks again to Privacy.com for sponsoring this video. When you sign up for Privacy.com, it allows you to pay and transfer money online using virtual card numbers instead of your real credit or debit card information. With Privacy.com, you won't have to worry about changing your cards if one of them gets hacked like mine did. After my identity was stolen and someone charged $15K on one of my cards, I knew that I didn't want that to ever happen again. Privacy.com honestly protects me from losers like that. So you can also download this Chrome extension that gives you access to your cards all the time, and you can add any you'd like for different services. So go to privacy.com/BrianTong, sign up for an account, and as a special treat for my viewers, new customers will automatically get $5 to spend on your first purchase for a limited time only. Yep, that's free money, $5. So go to privacy.com/BrianTong and sign up now. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. For all you gamers out there, Apple Arcade, it's a must-get service, and at the very least, try it for the 1-month trial. Or don't, because once you do, I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to get you hooked real fast.